guys, today I am back here with a new video of class 7 first chapter, which is nutrition in plants. The first topic is living and non-living organisms. Living organisms like human beings, plants and animals need food to survive and exist. Living organisms reproduce, respond to the environment and also adapt it. Living organisms respire and excrete as well. The next point is cells. Cells are the tiny units that help make up a living organism. Hence, they are also called the building blocks of an organism. Cells are known as the building blocks of the organism because, as we all knew, that to make a building, we need the blocks. That's why to make an organism body, we need cells. A cell is constituted of three major parts. A thin outer layer called the cell membrane. Cell membrane protects the inner parts of the cell. A spherical structure located at the center of the cell called a nucleus. Nucleus is the part as a brain of the cell, because as we are having the brain, that's why we are able to control ourselves. That's why to control a cell, you need a cell, nucleus. A jelly-like substance that surrounds the nucleus called the cytoplasm. Nucleus is surrounded over a cytoplasm which also secures the nucleus. Single and multicellular organisms. Organisms are made up of just one cell are called single cell or unicellular organisms. Example, amoeba. That's why they are made up of only one cell which controls their whole body. Organisms with more than one cell in their body are called multicellular organisms. Organisms which are having more than one cell in their body are known as the multicellular organisms. All human beings, plants and animals are called multicellular organisms. The next topic is nutrition. Nutrition. Nutrition is the mode of taking food by an organism and its utilization by the body. Nutrition is very important as the nutrients from the food consumed enables living organisms to build their bodies and grow. Nutrition helps to repair the damaged parts and organs. Nutrition also provides energy for carrying out various functions. We have seen the definition of nutrition in the 6th standard first chapter. The next is autotrophs and heterotrophs. Organisms that make food themselves are called autotrophs. Plants are an example of autotrophs, as they make their own food using the carbon dioxide, water and light energy. Plants are known as autotrophs because they made their own food. Now you would be thinking that human beings also make their own food. They must be also called autotrophs. But autotrophs are known that they doesn't take any of the ingredients from outside. That all the ingredients are there only. That's why as we take spinach, then various of the masalas which come from plants and animals. That's why it is also known as the heterotroph. Organisms that rely on others are usually taken in ready-made food made by the autotrophs are called heterotrophs. Animals and human beings are an example of heterotrophs, as they depend on plants in many ways for their food. The next topic is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process of synthesis of food by the green plants. This process usually takes place in the leaves of plants. The process requires the chlorophyll, the green colored pigment present in the leaves, sunlight, carbon dioxide and water. The organelles. Organelles are the tiny cellular structures inside a cell and perform specific functions that are important for the cell. They are found in the cytoplasm of a cell. For example, the chloroplast is a cell organelle that carries out the process of photosynthesis. The chloroplast. The chloroplast is a type of organelle that exists in plants. These organelles contain the chlorophyll, which is the green colored pigment that is responsible for the carrying out the process of photosynthesis in the plant, as it captures the sunlight and holds it inside it. The next is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll. It is the pigment that is responsible for the synthesis of food in the green plant. This pigment green color this pigment gives the green color and makes it abundantly found in the leaves, and chlorophyll is locked inside the chloroplast. The chlorophyll is responsible for the capturing of sunlight and using it in making their food with the process of photosynthesis. What is the process of photosynthesis? The process of photosynthesis takes place in the leaves, the food factory of the plant. Carbon dioxide is taken in through tiny pores of the leaves called stomata. Water and minerals that are being required for the process are transported to the leaves from the stems and from the roots through the stem. Chlorophyll helps the leaves use the energy from the sunlight to prepare food using carbon dioxide, water and minerals. Oxygen is released as a byproduct of this process. The equation of the photosynthesis is 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus energy is equal to C6H12 12O6 plus 6O2 of carbon dioxide. It is the carbon dioxide plus water plus energy from light produces the glucose and oxygen. See, this is the diagram. Light has been falling on the leaves. Water is coming from stem roots through the stems to the leaves, and chlorophyll is present inside it. And carbon dioxide it takes up through the stomata and releases the oxygen from itself. Nutrients. Now nutrients. Plants absorb mineral nutrients from the soil in order to make their own food and for other important processes. Soil needs to be enriched with nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, etc. regularly. Only then can we grow plants and keep them healthy. There are 17 most important nutrients for plants. 6 are called macronutrients and rest are called micronutrients. Macronutrients are required in large quantities while the micronutrients are required in very small quantities. Since there are various of the relationships between the plants, it is one of that is symbiotic relationship. Organisms that live together and share their shelter and nutrients are said to be in a symbiotic relationship. Certain fungi live in the roots of trees. The trees provide nutrients to the fungus and in return receives help from it to take up water and nutrients from the soil. This association works well for both the fungi and the tree. Another most common example of the is the rhizobium bacteria. They reside in the root nodules of the leguminous plants. The bacteria provide a plant with nitrogen that they fix, and in turn they get shelter and food from the plant. Rhizobium bacteria are the bacteria which are found in the leguminous plant root nodules, and they are used to capture the atmospheric nitrogen and use it as and save it for the plant. The next, the rhizobium. Now rhizobium is a type of bacteria that convert atmospheric nitrogen into a soluble form that can be utilized by the plant, this process is known as the nitrogen fixation. It usually resides in the roots of the leguminous plants like peas, gram, moong, etc. and is instrumental in providing these plants with a rich source of nitrogen. Nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen is an important nutrient required for soil and for the plant. However, nitrogen in the atmosphere is not easily accessible. The process by which nitrogen is converted into a form that can be used by plants and other living organisms is known as the process of nitrogen fixation. Parasite. A parasite is a heterotroph. A parasite is a heterotroph that completely depends on another organism for its food. The organism to which the parasite latches onto is called the host. The host in the process is deprived of all the nutrients for its own growth as they are consumed by the parasite. For example, Castata, the amer bale, is a non-green plant that takes ready-made food from the plant on which it is growing. Saprotroph. Organisms which rely on dead and decaying matter for their food are called the saprotrophs. This mode of nutrition is called the saprotrophic nutrition. For example, fungi. Fungi secrete digestive juices on the dead and decaying matter and convert it into a solution. Then they absorb the nutrients from it. Insectivorous plants. Plants that feed on insects are called the insectivorous plants. These plants are green and carry out photosynthesis, but they grow in nitrogen deficient soil. So, in order to get nitrogen, they feed on insects. These insectivorous plants have their parts modifying for attracting and catching the insects. For example, the pitcher plant and Venus flytrap. Did you know a fact about the cactus plant? Most of the photosynthesis takes place in the leaves of the green plant. However, in case of some of the desertive plants, it takes place in their stem and even in their branches. Cacti are found in the desert and their leaves are modified to spines to avoid loss of water due to the transpiration. Therefore, their green stems enable them to carry out the process of photosynthesis. Okay guys, it was just for the today video. I will see you in the next video. Have a nice day. Bye.
Stories, I'm a fool for your love.